I get so defensive, but I've kind of given it up. Like if you're critical of Biden, if you believe Tara Reade, you are a Trump enabler. It's like, no,
No,
I'm not a Trump fan. Although he's awful. I appreciate his honesty. I mean, he's both a pathological liar
Yes.
and a radical truth teller.
I always say he is the most honest liar we've ever had. And he is transparent. He can't help himself. And his lies are kind of such whoppers that they're so easy to pin through, but he also tells the truth. And the left can't see that, and they lose their shit. And it's like, yes, he said bad things. Yes, he's done very scummy things. Yes, this is not a sterling character human, as we've seen. But it doesn't mean every Republican is lying about what they think about Hollywood or their take on it. It doesn't mean they're wrong about the Clintons. It doesn't mean they're wrong. And I have to say, all those people freaking out about the lock her up chant to Hillary, if you knew how many people and how many times poor Tara Reade has to say to me, the Democrats on her page are chanting lock her up. And I get that. If I tweet anything against Biden, you're voting for Trump. Stop being stupid. Yeah. Stop being morons. And that's like the defense of, well, he didn't attack me when I was in a relationship, so how could he attack the next wife? It has nothing to do with the other. And I'm sorry to taser your brain and break your fucking cult-like reality, but I'm going to have to. And I can take it. I can take the hate. I don't care. But what I can't take, and I'm really sick of, is the suspension, the deactivation, the shadow banning, and the after giving them so much press for so many years and lauding them, that they're literally stepping on my throat on behalf of rapists and other bad actors. You know, it is. That's what I don't understand. I want to believe Jack Dorsey's a good guy, right? But there is that disconnect where I don't get their motivation. And for me, they don't get me because they can't buy me off. I don't want anything from anybody. I'm not out for personal gain. I just I got exceedingly tired of living a lie and seeing everybody else like doing it too, you know? And I think it's interesting because for years, the right wing has been saying Hollywood is a bunch of fake liberals. They're 100% right. They don't even know how fake they are. They can't see it. It's kind of like Kamala Harris not being able to see the optics. And how many people did it pass through that had to okay that conversation? This is a man who was with Epstein in Africa. Like, for God's sake, this is insane. Like,
and the photo exists. Like the photo of him getting the massage exists.
A real one. And the one I tweeted exists.
Right.
Although it's literally scrubbed from Google Images.
I can't find it. Yeah, you have to send it to me because I literally can't find it.
They scrubbed it. They completely scrubbed it. They're in on it too. And I have to say that's another platform that completely suppresses me. You have to get to like page 3 before there's anything good about me. They have hit job articles by Nikki Swift, paid off by Weinstein, and people like it. When you Google me, the first stuff is about drugs, which they planted. And I mean, and that thing was insane. The lawyer I hired, Jose Baez, turned out to be disappeared right before I had to make a plea. 4 days later, representing Weinstein in court, turned out it's just bananas, the level of treachery. And the fact that I'm still hopeful for a better world and I still push for it and I still fight for it just because it's right. And I can. I spent years kind of learning how to game the system. And how I did that was by pretending I was just an actress and that's all I wanted to do. And that dream was my dream. I'm so happy to be here. And then, no, I'm going to gain access to cameras and microphones and I'm going to fuck.
That should be your calling on your card, your motto. Yeah.
My motto is like, why? Why the fuck not? Like, because I can. Because we all should.
Funny. It's funny because you're obviously like very uncensored, unfiltered, and you know, like what you just did there, like, you know.
Most people probably don't say that in an interview with you. I'm going to say it might be the first time.
Yeah, historic moment. But it also is, not to sound corny, but it does come from a place of healing and empathy. I don't know if you want to get into your album, but I was listening to it, and it really is. It's like this interesting combination of angry but soothing and healing.
Thank you.
And I have to say, it's one of these weird things. I almost never like a song aesthetically, like the first time I hear it. Like I have to hear it a few times before it fits in the groove in my head. But Like, it was really instantly enjoyable.
Thank you. I worked very, very hard on an album. I named it Planet Nine. I made it simultaneous to writing my book, Brave. I kind of worked around the clock. And it was the antidote to Brave in a way. And it was about, I mixed it on a 432 hertz frequency and layered in binaural beats, which are both said to massage the left and right brain. And it honestly, it's been suppressed, of course, the release of it and all that. But it is music to heal people, and it's beautiful, and it's like music to go to space to. Cosmic daughter. Cosmic father. If you want to listen to something 38 minutes where you, especially right now when we can't travel outside, but we can travel inside, I urge people to go to YouTube Music, Spotify's too compressed for my taste, and Google Planet Nine Rose McGowan and lay down on the floor of your bed for 38 minutes, put on your headphones and close your eyes. I guarantee you 100% you will feel different at the end than when you went into it. If you have anxiety, if you have trauma, if you want to feel that release, a feeling like you're on the top of a car flying through space at night, highly recommend. And I say, and it's my hope for the world, and it's my gift to the world. It's my love letter to the best in us that I know we can be better by generally at least 10% each day. And overall, I see hope. I see the goodness in people. That's why I push so hard against the bad ones.
Yeah, it's like the opposite side of anger is that love, you know?
It is. And people I get, you know, of course, for many moons I was portrayed as just this rageful, angry person. It's more like a thunderstorm that passes by, and I'm back to being, I have every right to be completely insane and walk down the street with my hair on fire. Every right. But I'm a pretty jolly person, and I hope for the world, and I hurt for the world, and I want to hug the world, and I want to throw some bad people off the world.
That's a fair bargain.
I think so.
Combo, yeah. It's interesting how Twitter, I was thinking how both you and Juanita Broaddrick really made history by tweeting. You know, you tweeting about Harvey Weinstein, and then Juanita Broaddrick, of course, tweeted when she saw in 2016 Hillary saying, you know, I believe women should be believed and listened to. And she tweeted out, I interviewed her, and it's really interesting because she kept trying to tweet. And she doesn't know a lot about Twitter. She actually did have a Twitter, but she would be like, I'm drinking like lemonade on my porch or something. And she kept trying to tweet and it wouldn't send because it was too long. So she called her grandson, who helped her with it. Obviously, she didn't tell him. Well, not obviously. She did not tell him the content of it. But she's like, I keep doing it. It won't let me send. And then he explained that it had to be certain, you know, numbers. But with her also, like, I totally bought into she's a conspiracy theorist nut. And then I looked into it, and no, she's totally credible. And she's been, how can I possibly blame someone for becoming a Trump supporter when no one on the left gave her the time of day? And I can't judge someone for that. And that's also why, you know, with Tara Reade, I really wanted to, Tara Reade is a lefty progressive hippie. Like, yeah. And
more than me.
Yeah. And she didn't go right. She went on right-wing stuff because guess what? No one else would have her on it. And it's this cycle. So the left won't have you. Then the only people who will have you are the right and then RT. And then you're accused of being Russian plants and or right-wing operatives.
Well, ever since coming out in support of Tara Reade and going up against Biden, I've been, you know, the New York Times, which reviewed my book, which reviewed the movie On that I directed. Album comes out, radio silence, like omerta, like I'm dead to that wing of the press. But you got a Pulitzer off my back. Okay.
Right.
Because I called them, even though she said their book, it says that they called me, but okay, sure. It is egregious. The left, if I wasn't so anti-cult, I understand being driven to being a Republican. It's disgusting. When you've been viciously assaulted, disbelieved, terrorized, stalked, haunted, and then you see your rapist's face on TV every day and his wife covering for him, your brain is going to explode. Of course you are. For me, what's interesting is on Twitter, I get so much support from people on the right, and they say straight up to me, I don't agree with your politics, right. Which I assume means abortion rights and gay rights and human rights. I don't know what else it would mean. But they say, but I support you and I respect you. And I do not get that from the left. From the left, I get, oh my God, you have Republicans following you. I remember when Trump got elected and the whole thing was, we need to talk to those voters, which really means we need to convert you to our side. And no wonder they don't want to. I mean, nobody wants this kind of condescending talk directed at them all the time. It's exhausting. And again, the amount of people that say lock her up to Tara Reade that are good Democrats, I find that like, I want to literally crawl through the phone wires and punch them in the head. It's just disgusting. And it's purely because they live in a cult-like system. They've had to set it up that way. America is a cult, deep state cult. The Hollywood is this propaganda machine. It always has been. And it's a beautiful and horrible place.